Why should your kids get birthday gifts? My aunt said loudly. You adopted them from who knows where, my mom added. This was at my daughter's 10th birthday party. I smiled and quietly asked everyone to leave. What they didn't know. My adopted daughter's biological grandmother had just left her a $6.7 million estate and named me as executor until she's 25, when Forbes published the list. My aunt said it loud enough to cut through the laughter and the squeak of balloons. Why should your kids get birthday gifts? She had one hand on the gift table like a traffic cop carrying the colorful bags away from my daughter. My mom didn't lower her voice either. You adopted them from who knows where. She added like it was a joke. It's not the same. It was my daughter's 10th birthday. We were in the rented party room at the community center, the one with the industrial carpet and folding tables. 10 kids from school had come. So had most of my extended family. I had hung a banner that said double digits across the cheap drop ceiling. We had a cake with too much frosting and little sugar stars. My daughter Maya had drawn her own invitations with cats and cupcakes. She was standing a few feet away holding the corner of a paper plate and trying to figure out if she was allowed to move. My aunt was already pulling 2 gift bags back toward her body, the unicorn tissue paper stuck to her sweater. She smiled like she was protecting something valuable. We'll give these to Lily later, she said, meaning my cousin's kid. Maya's eyes didn't water. She did that thing where she pulls her lips into a thin line and looks down like if she's quiet enough, she'll be invisible. She reached for the plastic knife to help me cut the cake. It's okay, she whispered, too soft for anyone else to hear. She is always making it okay for other people. My throat went tight. My hands shook so hard I almost dropped the cake plate. I felt heat in my face the way I used to feel before a presentation. I am not someone who makes scenes. I don't cry in public. I am the one who cleans up and pays the invoice. Thank you for coming, I said. My voice sounded normal, which surprised me. I smiled the smile I use on clients and flight attendants. Party's over. Everyone can take a cupcake for the road. People blinked. A few kids froze with frosting on their faces. My cousin Brianna looked at me like she wasn't sure if I was kidding. My husband set down the piñata stick slowly. I mean it, I said, still calm. Please leave. My aunt's mouth dropped open. My mom started to argue, but I put a hand up. Not today. As they shuffled out with their confused kids and uneaten pizza, my mom rolled her eyes and said under her breath, "Drama queen." My aunt clutched those 2 bags like they were the last lifeboats off a ship. They didn't know that 2 hours earlier, Forbes had put out a blurb with a list that included a local estate settlement. They didn't know that the name under that $6.7 million entry was my daughter's, and that I was the executive until she turns 25. They didn't know because I hadn't told them. They just knew I had adopted my kids from who knows where and that I always picked up the check. I'm Selena. I'm 36 in Columbus, Ohio. I work as an SEO specialist for a healthcare company. It's not glamorous, but I like fixing things with logic and clean dashboards. I'm married to Lucas, a high school teacher. We have 2 kids, Maya 10 and Jay 7, both adopted, both perfect, both trained by survival to be quiet and polite. I am the oldest in my family and the one who got out, as my aunt likes to say, even though I live 20 minutes away. Being the oldest translated to being the responsible one. Responsible turned into being the bank. For the last 6 years, I've done the weekly transfers to my mom, $150 every Friday, like clockwork. She calls it help for groceries, but I know it keeps the cable and cigarettes going. When her electric was shut off in 2021, I put the AE bill in my name and paid down the $837 balance because the kids were going over there that weekend. When my aunt's car died, I swiped my card for the $1,900 repair and then heard, "We'll pay you back when taxes come," which never happens. I bought plane tickets for my brother Dan to fly to Vegas for our cousin's wedding because he couldn't miss it. I found out later he never went to the wedding. He went to a UFC fight. Last summer, I covered the Airbnb for a beach week. For 10 of us, $9,800 total, because family memories are priceless. I paid the deposit in January and the balance in May. I was the one who bought the matching shirts too because my mom thinks those are cute. I then mobbed $250 here, $300 there, and I stopped keeping a tally because it made me bitter to see numbers attached to people I love. All of that would have been tolerable if it came with basic respect. It didn't. The first time we brought Maya to Thanksgiving, my mom set a place card with a pencil mark where her name should have been and said, "Let's see if this sticks before we break out the fancy markers." She thought she was being funny. When Jay drew a family picture and gave it to my mom, she said, "How sweet, I'll put it on the fridge." and then I found it later under a pile of coupons. My cousin's baby announcement was framed on the mantel. My kids' first day of school pictures lived in a stack. Little slights piled up. Oh, we forgot they don't like loud noises after lighting firecrackers next to Maya at the 4th of July barbecue. Real cousins only, when they organized a cousin's day at the zoo and told me they figured my kids wouldn't care. At Christmas, my mama gave Jay a toothbrush and a used copy of a book with someone else's name in it. She gave my nephew a new bike. Every time I told myself, let it go. Pick your battles. They're old school. They'll come around. I kept paying things because if my mom's electric was off, it affected my kids. If my aunt's car didn't run, she couldn't take my mom to the doctor. I told myself I was keeping the machine going for the sake of the little people who had no say. Then in February, the letter came. It was cream paper, heavy, with a Columbus law firm's logo embossed on it. Regarding the estate of Ellen Hart, it said, Ellen Hart was Maya's biological grandmother. I met her once during the adoption process. She wore pearls to the courthouse and brought a soft blanket she'd knit herself. She told me she wished she'd had it together to raise her daughter. She was glad Maya would be safe with us. After that day, we sent her pictures twice a year through the agency. She sent birthday cards to Maya with stickers. I didn't know Ellen was well off. It turned out she had been a quiet real estate investor, owning half of an old building downtown that was now cool lofts and a bakery. She passed away in December. In her will, she left a trust for Maya totaling $6.7 million after taxes and settlements. She named me executive until Maya turns 25. There were rules. No houses in my name, no loans to family, no business ventures, tuition, medical, reasonable living expenses if needed. I sat at my kitchen table on Zoom with a lawyer named Thomas, who seemed surprised I didn't cry. I didn't tell my family. I told Lucas. I told our financial planner. We opened a separate account at a different bank. I filed papers. We kept living the same way. Maya still wore Target leggings and drew on printer paper. We didn't buy a new car. We didn't tell anyone because it wasn't a prize. It was an obligation, a blessing, and it belonged to Maya. Then in February, Forbes posted a list of notable local estates from the previous quarter. Ellen's name was there. Trust to minor heir, it said. People who knew how to search could connect dots. My family watches the local news and reads the comments. They love a story. After the party incident with the gifts, I realized two things at once. They didn't see my children as part of the family, and they saw me as the wallet for the parts they did like. Those truths had always been there. I had just been too busy paying to look right at them. After everyone left the community center, I cut the cake into slices because that's what you do. I packed them into takeout containers I'd brought because I am always prepared. When Maya and Jay and the 3 school friends, who stayed until their parents came, were finally gone and Lucas was loading streamers into a trash bag, I sat in one of the metal folding chairs and looked at the table with the unicorn gift wrap. There were still gifts there from our friends, from parents of classmates, from my cousin Brianna, who had slipped me an apologetic look before leaving her present on the chair with her name. The 2 my aunt had grabbed were gone. I picked up my phone and opened my email. The subject line from Coastal Escapes Rentals was still starred. Reminder final balance due, June 15th. The beach house. I'd booked it in November because my mom had said we missed last year. The kids grow so fast. Let's do it big. I'd paid the $2.450 deposit with my business card and told myself I'd see how things were in the spring. It was a big house with a pool and 10 beds and one of those long tables for seafood boils I always end up paying for too. I stared at the email until my eyes hurt. My hands were steady now. I thought about the room full of people who had watched my daughter be declared less than at her own party and said nothing. I thought about the image of my aunt's hand on those gift bags like she was protecting something from my child. Are you okay? Lucas asked, coming to crouch beside me. He had frosting on his sleeve. He looked tired and kind. I'm canceling the beach house, I said. My voice sounded like I was placing an order. He nodded once. Do you want me to call? No, I said. I'm going to do it. I went out to the hallway where the echo was better for phone calls. I dialed the number at the bottom of the email. A woman with a smile in her voice picked up. Coastal Escapes. This is Denise. How can I help? I gave her the reservation number. I told her I needed to cancel. She read me the policy. Full refund on the balance if more than 60 days before. Deposit non-refundable. Our dates were 12 weeks away. You'll forfeit the $2.450 deposit, she said, but you won't be charged the remaining $7.350. Okay, I said, please cancel. She asked if everything was okay. I said plans changed. She processed it. I heard typing. She confirmed my email. I got the ding in my inbox. Cancellation confirmation. Reservation 48931. It was done. I felt something unclench in my chest I hadn't even noticed was tight. I pulled up my calendar and moved the beach house final payment reminder into the trash. I deleted the shared Google Doc that said meal plan OBX with tabs for snacks and which day we do the aquarium. I sat for a full minute and stared at the trash can icon, and then I closed my eyes. On the drive home, I kept my hands at 10 and 2. Maya was quiet in the back, staring at the goodie bag someone's mom had insisted she take. It had a bouncy ball and 3 lollipops. Jay was asleep, frosting on his cheek. Lucas put a hand on my knee at a stoplight. "Do you want to talk about it?" he asked. "Not yet," I said. "I did one thing today. That's enough." At home, I texted my mom and the group chat we use for family logistics. I didn't explain what happened at the party. I didn't type an essay. I wrote beach week is canceled. I forfeited the deposit. Please make other plans. That was it. 3 sentences. Send. The dots showed up. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and helped Maya open the gifts that were hers to open. A puzzle. A book about cats. A set of gel pens in neon colors. She lined the pens in a straight row and smiled at the ridiculous cake that now only we would eat. She didn't ask me why everyone left. She handed me the green pen for writing. She didn't know about the estate. They didn't know I had a folder in our safe with legal documents and a trust statement with more zeros than anyone in my family had ever seen. They just needed to understand that my money, in whatever account, would not be used to fund a family that made my daughter small. The next morning, my phone lit up like a slot machine. Missed calls, voicemails. The group chat had 62 messages. "My mom, you can't just cancel. What about the kids?" My aunt, "That deposit was family money. Selfish much." My brother, "Are you serious right now?" "We already asked for off." Then in a private text from my mom, "Is this about yesterday?" "You know how your aunt is. Don't punish everybody. Be reasonable. Also, can you send the Friday money a day early? I need to pay the water bill. It's $173. I stared at the screen and felt that old pull the itch to fix to smooth. I typed and erased. Lucas leaned over my shoulder and kissed my temple. "Remember what you said last night," he said. "One thing." I responded with one message copied and pasted to anyone who came at me sideways. "I won't fund a family my kid isn't part of." My aunt fired back. "Don't make this about your adoption crusade. We're blood. You can't erase that." I sent the same line. "I won't fund a family my kid isn't part of." My mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Then I listened. "Selena, stop being dramatic. You always do this when you're stressed. Lucas is putting ideas in your head. We didn't mean anything by it yesterday. You know how gifts are complicated. People didn't know what to do because she's not really, anyway, don't do this. Think of Lily. She was so excited about the beach. There it was. Lily, not Maya." Brianna texted me separately. "I'm sorry for yesterday. I should have said something. I didn't know what to do when I froze. Please tell Maya we love her. Can I bring the boys over this weekend?" "Yes," I wrote back. "Saturday afternoon." She sent a heart. Then the other shoe dropped. A link from my cousin Dan with no comment, just the little eyes emoji. The Forbes article. "Is this you?" he wrote. "No," I typed and then deleted it. "I'm not doing this over text." He called. Against my better judgment, I picked up. So he said, "So wow, you've been holding out." "It's Maya's," I said. My voice stayed calm. "And it's not a slush fund. It's managed. It's not for the family." "Relax," he said, laughing. "I'm not asking for a loan. I'm just saying, if the family's doing a beach trip, you can cover it. It's not like you're going to miss it." "I canceled it," I said. "It's not happening. And again, I won't fund a family my kid isn't part of." "You're punishing everyone," he said. "I'm protective," I said, "of my kids." He hung up with a sarcastic okay executive like it was an insult. For the rest of the week, people tried different angles. Guilt. Think of the memories. Logic. The deposit is already gone, so you might as well pay the rest. Insults. You've changed. You think you're better than us. Even sweet talk. Let's sit down and talk this out. You know we love the kids. I sent the same sentence to all of them. I didn't argue about adoption. I didn't explain the trust. I didn't forward the clause from the will about no loans to family. I didn't tell them about the monthly transfers I had made for 6 years. I didn't list the electric bills and the repairs and the plane tickets. They already knew. And that's the way people know without wanting to look. My mom showed up at our house on Thursday with a bag of clementines like a peace offering. She sat at my kitchen table and picked at a loose thread on the tablecloth. "You have to stop being so stubborn," she said. "Family is about give and take." "I've given," I said, "for years." "So now you're taking," she asked, eyebrows up. "I'm stopping," I said. "That's all." She looked around my kitchen like the answer might be taped to a cabinet. "What did we even do?" she said. Finally, like she hadn't been in the room when my aunt took gift bags from a 10-year-old. You made my child feel like she was less at her own birthday party. She'll forget. Kids are resilient. I'm not, I said. Not about this. She stood up with a little huff like she was cold and needed to move on. Well, she said, I guess we'll see you at Easter. Maybe I said if it's a place where my kids are family. She didn't slam the door, which I appreciated. Easter ended up being in our house. I set 2 extra chairs at the table anyway, out of habit or hope, I'm not sure. I dyed eggs with Maya and Jay and Brianna's boys. We used the cheap kits and a lot of paper towels. The boys got dye on the dog. We ate ham from Kroger and a carrot cake I made with too much cream cheese frosting because that's how the kids like it. The house smelled like sugar and vinegar and a little like spring. Brianna called her mom to say Happy Easter from our back porch. She didn't patch me in. Later, she said I told her if she doesn't see Maya as a real cousin, she can keep her invitations. She shrugged like it was nothing, but I saw her hands shake a little when she said it. Maya made place cards for everyone with stickers and gel pens. She wrote her own name on hers in big letters. Maya. She put mine at the head of the table and Lucas's across from me. She put one that said Grandma in front of one of the empty chairs and then looked up at me, searching my face. Leave it, I said. It can sit there. We hid eggs in the living room because it rained. I watched the kids laugh, heads bent together, whispering spots and secrets. When Maya found the golden egg, she brought it to me first, before opening it, like she still needed permission to be lucky. It's yours, I said. Open it. Her smile is quiet, but it takes up the whole room. After everybody left and the dishwasher hummed, I went to the fridge and taped up the drawing Maya had made that afternoon. It was a family picture. Me, Lucas, Maya, and Jay, but also Brianna and her boys, and our neighbor, Mrs. Carter, who brings over soup when she makes too much, and Mr. Lee from down the block, who taught Jay how to fix his bike chain. She had drawn a table, and the chairs around it were full. Above it, she wrote in her careful block letters, Family. I slid the drawing into a plastic sleeve and then later into a cheap frame. It looked official that way. It looked protected. I don't know what my extended family will decide to do with me. They might drift. They might regroup without us. They might send cards for birthdays and skip signing their names. They might show up in a year and act like nothing happened. I know what I will do. I will keep the trust documents in the safe and the password in my head. I will not fund a family my kid isn't part of. I will pay for gel pens and swim lessons and college applications. I will call the electric company for my own house and send my mom the number for hers. I will keep an extra chair at my table because I am not made of stone, but I won't beg anyone to sit in it. After everyone went to bed, I pulled out the party favor bag we'd saved from the birthday. I put one of the lollipops in my purse for later, for when Maya and I are stuck in line somewhere and she needs a small sweetness. I put the bouncy ball in the junk drawer because that's where it belonged. Then I opened the email folder with the cancellation confirmation and pinned it to the top for a week. Not because I needed the reminder that it was done, but because I wanted to see the subject line when I checked my email confirmation. It felt like a small blessing. I turned off the kitchen light. The chair with the grandma card sat empty and quiet. The drawing on the fridge caught the glow from the hall. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I owed anyone an explanation.